In October 2003, a small team of archaeologists knelt in a limestone cave on the island of Flores. They were digging for evidence of the first modern humans to reach Australia. What they found instead didn't fit anywhere in the human story. A skeleton, buried in soft cave sediment, about 1 meter tall, fully grown, fully formed, and nothing like us. Its brain was smaller than a chimpanzee's. Its wrist bones curved like something out of the deep past, millions of years older than modern humans. And yet stone tools lay scattered beside it, tools too precise for an animal to make. Who made them? The skeleton was catalogued as LB1, Liangbua 1, named for the cave. The scientists who found it, led by Australian archaeologist Mike Marwood and paleoanthropologist Peter Brown, gave it an informal name that stuck instantly: the Hobbit. Because at just over 1 meter tall, weighing perhaps 25 kilograms, it looked like something from fiction, not from the fossil record. But this wasn't fiction. This was real bone, real stone, real time. And the dates made everything worse. Modern humans, Homo sapiens, are thought to have reached Southeast Asia by roughly 50,000 years ago. The Hobbit's remains, and the tools around them, dated to as recently as 60,000 to 100,000 years ago. Some later analysis pushed the cave's occupation even later. That meant one thing scientists did not want to say out loud: we may not have been alone. For over a century, the human evolutionary tree had a simple shape, one line, branching backward in time, narrowing until it reached a single, common ancestor: Homo sapiens, then Neanderthals, then older ancestors, further and further back. But Flores didn't fit the line. This wasn't an ancestor, it was a cousin. Small-brained, small-bodied, and alive at the same time, modern humans were spreading across the planet. How does a species like that survive for hundreds of thousands of years without anyone knowing? The island itself holds part of the answer. Flores is isolated, surrounded by deep ocean straits that even during ice ages, when sea levels dropped, never fully connected it to the mainland. Animals that reach islands like this sometimes change in strange ways. Biologists call it island dwarfism. Large animals shrink over generations. Elephants on Flores, called stegodon, shrank to the size of large pigs. Small animals, freed from large predators, sometimes grow larger. Flores had giant rats, giant storks, a Komodo dragon population that still survives today. Could the same evolutionary pressure that shrank the elephants have shrunk a human lineage too? Some researchers think the Hobbit descended from Homo erectus, an earlier human ancestor known to have reached Southeast Asia over 1 million years ago. Trapped on an island with limited food over hundreds of thousands of years, that population may have shrunk, body first, brain following. Other researchers disagree entirely. They argue the skull and wrist bones look too primitive, too different, to have evolved from Homo erectus in isolation. Instead, they propose something even stranger. That Homo floresiensis descended from a far older, more primitive ancestor that left Africa long before Homo erectus. An ancestor science hasn't directly found yet. If that's true, there was a human lineage walking the earth that we have no fossil record of anywhere else. A ghost species, visible only through the shadow it left on one small island. The debate has never fully settled. Some scientists initially suggested the skeleton wasn't a new species at all. Perhaps it was a modern human with a growth disorder, microcephaly, dwarfism caused by disease. But the discovery of more bones, at least 9 more individuals over the following years, made that explanation harder to defend. Multiple small-bodied, small-brained individuals of different ages, all showing the same skeletal pattern. That isn't consistent with isolated cases of disease. That looks like a population. A population that lived, hunted, made fire, crafted stone tools sharp enough to butcher the miniature elephants sharing their island, and somehow vanished. The most unsettling question isn't how they survived, it's why they stopped. Some evidence points to a massive volcanic eruption on Flores roughly 50,000 years ago, one that may have wiped out much of the island's ecosystem, the hobbits included. Others point to a simpler, older story, one that has repeated itself again and again in human history. A new arrival showed up. Homo sapiens reached Flores at some point during this window. Modern humans, with modern brains, modern tools, and modern numbers. We don't know what happened when the two species met. There's no written record, no oral history that survived 50,000 years intact, but we know how this story ends every other time it's been tried. Neanderthals disappeared not long after modern humans arrived in Europe. Denisovans, a separate ancient human lineage identified only through DNA in a Siberian cave, disappeared around the same broad window. And now, Flores. Every time Homo sapiens has shared a landscape with another human species, we are the ones left standing. Is that survival, or is that something else? The Hobbit discovery forced a complete rewrite of the textbook diagram. The single climbing line of human evolution was replaced with something messier, a tangled bush of coexisting, overlapping, competing human species. At least 5 different human species were alive at the same time, as recently as 50,000 years ago. Homo sapiens, Neanderthals, Denisovans, Homo floresiensis, and Homo luzonensis, another small-bodied species later discovered on an island in the Philippines. 5 branches of humanity, sharing the same planet at the same time. Today, exactly one of them is left. Every person watching this, every person who has ever lived in recorded history, comes from the single branch that happened to survive. Not because we were the only humans who ever existed, because we were the last ones standing when the others ran out of island. Out of time, out of luck. The hobbits of Flores lived successfully on that island for perhaps 700,000 years. Longer than Homo sapiens has existed as a species at all. By comparison, we've been the planet's only human species for roughly 40,000 years. A blink next to what came before us. So the next time someone calls modern humans the inevitable endpoint of evolution, the pinnacle species built to eventually exist, remember the 1-meter-tall skeleton in a cave on Flores. It didn't know it was going to disappear either.